Hey everybody, and welcome back. Happy New Year. Welcome to the Giants Chatter podcast. We have our first episode of 2026 hitting you right now. There has not been a lot going on in the world of the Giants. It's been pretty quiet. It's been pretty slow in the whole league altogether. But there is one big signing that I do want to talk about that I think is actually bigger than we are letting on. And then also we are going to talk about a few other things. But hey, just wanted to say Happy New Year. Hope your holidays were amazing. Hope Christmas was amazing. But now as we head into 2026, I can feel it. I can feel spring training in the air. We are close. We're getting close to pitchers and catchers reporting, close to the WBC. I'm excited about that. Logan Webb makes me a little nervous to have our best player and our best pitcher pitching in the WBC, and maybe some high leverage moments, some strain on the arm that the arm might not be used to in the spring. It makes me a little nervous about what that season will hold after that with those added innings. But anyway, we're not going to overthink that. We're going to just enjoy the ride. But a lot coming on now that we're in the new year, now that we're in January. I think a lot's going to get going. It's been kind of a cold stove lately. I think it's going to heat up because again, pitchers and catchers report, I think, in like 40 days. And so some of these guys got to end up somewhere. Kyle Tucker's on the board. Framber Valdez is on the board. And there's a lot of big names still out there that not necessarily I think the Giants are going to go for, but there's a lot of pieces that have to fall. Alex Bregman, Bo Bichette, and we can, there's a lot of big names that could shake the market and completely transform a team. And who knows? Maybe the Giants are in on one of those bigger names. We'll have to find out. Anyway, today, what today is going to look like, we're going to review a recent move the Giants made. We're going to talk about their signing. And then I have some New Year's resolutions for my Giants, things I hope in the new year with this offseason that they do before the season starts. And then we're going to conclude with one of my hot takes, Jesse's hot take. It's not super hot. We'll see. It depends. Anyway, let's get in recent moves. It's just one that we're going to focus on today. We talked about the Adrian Houser signing last episode. It's been a while. Feels like it's been a decade ago that we last talked. It's just what happens around Christmas time. But anyway, the Giants went out and signed another starting pitcher, Tyler Mahle. I've heard people pronounce his name Molly or Male. It's based on my research. It rhymes with rally. Tyler Mahle. He was with the Rangers last year. Anyway, they add on to their rotation. This matters. We're going to spend a little bit of time on the rotation here because heading into this offseason, I've heard other Giants people say, other shows, other reporters say that, and based on what maybe Posey has said or other front office people have said, that the Giants are likely to get two arms. And the expectation was that one of the arms would be an innings eater, someone like an Adrian Houser who they signed, and then the other arm would be that higher end starting pitcher who you can slot in the 3 behind Ray or even ahead of Ray, and it can go Webb and then this new guy and then Ray at the 3. This guy that they signed is not that. He probably lands in the same category as Houser, and that makes me a little worried. I think I said on our last episode, if the Giants go out and get another arm like Houser, then I will be a little concerned or a little confused. And they kind of have. Now, Mahle is a little different. We'll get into it. I think he has a much higher upside than Houser does. But all that being said, if this is it for the Giants rotation this offseason, a signing of Tyler Mahle and a signing of Adrian Houser, while I think, those guys could be solid, and we'll get into that in a second, it has left me feeling a little concerned. And now I don't necessarily think they're done. There are still a lot of big name starting pitchers, higher end starting pitchers on the market who we'll look at in a moment. Excuse me. But anyway, we need to dive in and just look at Tyler. Let's do him his due justice. There you go. You can talk. That he deserves because in and of himself, he's a quality starting pitcher. And this might be one of the best signings. When it's all said and done, we might look back at this signing and say, this was one of the best signings the Giants made all offseason because he has struggled to stay healthy, but when he has been healthy, he has been excellent. So last year with Texas, he made 16 starts. His month of April, he was one of the top pitchers to start the year. And honestly, all the way through his entire 16 starts that he made last year, he was excellent. He pitched to a 2.18 ERA. and 16 starts. Now, that's about half a season. So not necessarily what you want to see if the Giants front office is thinking this is their number 3 starter behind Robbie Ray. You don't really want to just throw a guy out there who's going to give you 16 innings. Now, the story would be different if the year before he was throwing 32 innings. Not 16 innings, 16 starts. If the year before he threw a full slate of starts, but he didn't in 2023 with the Twins. He only had 5 starts. Again, more injury problems. In 2020. I skipped 2024. In 2024, he only made 3 starts. And then in 2022, he split the season between the Reds and the Twins, and he made 23 starts. His last full healthy season was 2021. We're going back 5 full seasons since this guy has put together a full healthy season. In 2021, he had 33 starts with the Reds. With the 3.75 ERA, had a great season. 180 innings pitched, was a great pitcher for the Reds. Then he ended up with started 2022 with the Reds, was traded at the deadline to the Twins, and in 23 starts that year, he pitched to a 4.40 ERA, so not as good. And then he just has not been healthy. 2022 and 2023, both 4 starts, 5 starts. 2023. 5 starts, 2024, 3 starts. And then coming into 2025, he came in healthy and he looked fantastic. So if that's the case, if you're getting this guy healthy, then the last time we saw him healthy, he was fantastic with a 2.18 ERA and 16 starts, a 6-4 win-loss record through 86 and 2/3 innings, had 66 strikeouts, so that strikeout ratio is not amazing, that strikeout percentage. He had a 3.37 FIP and a 1.13, which is very good, WHIP. So he is someone who has shown, when healthy, he can be a quality starting pitcher. Now, my hope, and I'm an optimist, and so my optimist side is saying this is someone that they just got for 1 year, I think $10 million, super low risk. It's kind of, why not throw this contract at this guy, put him in a great ballpark for pitchers, see if he has a healthy year in him, and who knows, maybe he pitches through 33 starts or 32 starts or even 25 starts and gives you a sub-3 ERA like he did last year. That would be fantastic. And Hauser's the same way. Hauser's someone who has, when healthy, shown flashes that he can be a number 3 starter. And so for the Giants to spend about the equivalent yearly AAV that they're putting on both Mahle and Hauser, that's about the same that the Astros just gave Amai, which my initial reaction to the Tatsuya Amai contract was that why didn't the Giants go do that? It's a very friendly contract, a 3-year, I think $54 million deal for this guy from Japan. With opt-outs each year. It's a contract that any team in the league could have done. Even the A's could have done this deal. Even the Tampa Bay Rays could have done this deal. Even the Pittsburgh Pirates could have done this deal. So why weren't the Giants, maybe they were in the mix, but why didn't they go make this deal? There's a very good chance that with these 2 guys for the same price of one, that both of these guys put together a year just as good as Amai. Or even better than him, because he's unproven. He's never pitched in the big leagues here in America. And I could be totally wrong. Amai could be a stud. He could be the next Yamamoto. I think the market kind of told us what MLB executives think about him. He got nowhere near what was being projected. And so maybe maybe the way he's viewed around the league is not as highly as maybe all the hype was built up around him. And so a deal like this is super low risk for someone like Tyler Mahle, super low risk and high reward, because you're really not risking a ton. Where I do get concerned is if this is it, which I'm hoping it's not, because there are still some fantastic starting pitchers out on the board. If this is it, then you are running the risk of, if he doesn't work out, if Mally's not healthy, if Hauser's not healthy, if he doesn't work out, then you are looking at what we watched most of last year. You have 2 starting pitchers and then 3. Maybe Roop is healthy and good. Maybe Birdsong picks it up. Maybe Wisenhunt. Maybe one of the young guys. A lot of question marks. I would love if they could go out, get another high-end starting pitcher, either in the free agent market or in the trade market, and that could look like, if it's trade, that could look like Edwin Cabrera. There's a rumor out there that the Giants are possibly in the mix on Cabrera from the Marlins. There's rumors about Freddie Peralta. I would love that. He's got 1 year left and $8 million left on his contract. I mean, why not go get Willie Adames' good friend, Freddie Peralta, who's a great starting pitcher, and then try to extend him? Because you also have to think this is Robbie Ray's last year on his contract. So what's the future? What does 2027 and 2028 look like? Who are we surrounding Logan Webb with? We can't just think 1 year at a time here. So I really, really, really want the Giants to go out and get another high-end starter. And I'm getting ahead of myself because that's one of my New Year's resolutions. So the rotation as it stands, though, it looks like this. Logan Webb, Robbie Ray, Tyler Mahle. I'll throw Landon Roop at the 4 and then Adrian Hauser at the 5 with decent depth from the young guys. So these two signings have created some depth in the rotation. But you know what also would create more depth? Going out and getting a Ranger Suarez or trading for a Freddie Peralta or signing Zach Gallen. Those kind of deals would also give you depth because an Adrian Hauser can be the Jacob Junis type player, the Yusmeiro Petit type player who can start but can also throw you 4 innings out of the pen if needed. So we could get on. We're going to talk about that in a moment. The Giants have signed Tyler Mahle to a 1-year deal. I like it. I have my stamp of approval. I'll have an extra stamp of approval if this is not their last starting pitcher that they signed. Let's move on, though. We're going to look at my New Year's resolutions for the Giants. I think I have four things I want them to do in the new year. And really, it's a New Year's resolution just for January and February. And let's be honest, that's what we do anyway with our New Year's resolutions. If you make it to February, that's amazing. That's incredible. I don't think I've ever done that. I'm trying to diet. We'll see how it goes. I think I'm doing pretty good so far. We'll see if it even lasts. But the first New Year's resolution that I have for the Giants is to address right field. It's not one of the positions that you have to address. You have some depth there. You've got guys like Drew Gilbert and Luis Matos that if you want to roll out there and say, run it, kid, let's see what you got, then awesome. I'm all for that. But I think it is an opportunity area for the Giants to improve, and I don't think you have to go crazy. You don't have to go get Kyle Tucker. Do I want that? Of course. You don't have to go get Cody Bellinger. Would I like that? Sure. You don't have to go to the high end of the free agent market. I'm going to pull up this free agent list here to make sure we can see who is available in the outfield market. But there are guys below the high-end market pieces that I think would be great. I think Harrison Bader, he's available. I think he would be an excellent piece in the lineup, a quality outfielder. We've talked about him before. He's an option out there. You've also got, Michael Conforto. No, just kidding. Left field looks pretty bare. You can go get Mark Canha or Tommy Pham. No, thank you. And then, where's right field? There you are, right field. Max Kepler is an option. I don't think he's not a game changer. You get Max Kepler, he's not going to come in all of a sudden you think, oh, our lineup is fantastic. Randall Grichuk is still out there. There was rumors about him going to the Giants last year. Is that a pair that makes sense? And that's honestly about it. If you're not getting Kyle Tucker and if you're not getting Cody Bellinger, your next step is Harrison Bader, and then below that is a pretty steep decline of MLB-ready quality players. At that point, I'm saying let's run out the young guys and let's see what they've got. But I would love to see a Bellinger or a Bader or, in the dream world, a Kyle Tucker added to this team in the outfield. So in some way, and there's obviously trade opportunities that we're not even envisioning possibly. There's so many names out there that you could target. So the Giants could address that spot through the trade market, but I want them to address right field. If it's Harrison Bader, if it's Cody Bellinger, and if it's Kyle Tucker, that would be awesome. That'd be great. Somehow, some way, improve right field. Let Gilbert be a piece off the bench. Let Matos be a piece off the bench. Let Matos have to earn his way. We've given him a lot of opportunities to be who we thought he was. I'm a little worried he's another Marco Luciano who just got DFA'd by the Giants and then went to the Pirates and then quickly got DFA'd by the Pirates. That guy just did not live out to be who he is. I'm afraid that Matos is in the same boat. The Giants have been pretty unlucky when it comes to their big-name prospects as of late. Let's hope Eldridge is not the same story, but in some way, we need to upgrade the right field spot And we need to upgrade the outfield in general. Ramos had some really tough moments defensively this year. So somebody who can play a quality defense, especially in our home ballpark, right field is important. Somebody who can probably play center field is important too, because Jung-Hoo Lee sometimes looks great in center, sometimes doesn't. We need to elevate our offense and defense from the outfield position, from the right field position specifically. So that's the first one. The second one is I want the Giants to upgrade second base or grow their and grow their depth there. This is not a need, and we talked about this before. You have Casey Schmidt, who I think has at least earned the right to be looked at as this could be our starting second baseman all year next year. That's great, and I'm all for that. If Casey Schmidt's there, I've said this before, I'll be happy. I like Casey Schmidt. But I like Casey Schmidt more if he's not locked into your second base spot. If he can move around, if he can give Chapman days, if he can give Adames some days, if he could play some second base for you, if he could even play first base for you. I like having him and even Tyler Fitzgerald. If you don't go out and get a right fielder, great. Keep Fitzgerald on your roster. A healthy Fitzgerald, too. Last year, he wasn't healthy. Keep a healthy Fitzgerald on your roster for his speed. He can play all around the diamond, including the outfield, including center field. And so all of a sudden, you go out and you get a second baseman. You have a lot more depth on this team. And I think that is so undervalued in today's game. We're so worried about not creating a logjam, not creating, we don't want anybody cutting on their playing time. We want to give them... No, depth matters, so let's create some depth. Signing or trading for a second baseman would do so. So I don't care. It needs to be somebody good, obviously. So trading for a Brendan Donovan, as we talked about before, I would love that. I think he's a baller. I think he's a gamer. I think he goes out and he grinds every day. He's going to put up 2 or 3 WAR for you every single year. There's other guys available on the market. Let's see. Willie Castro, Jose Iglesias is available. Jorge Polanco would have been awesome, but he signed with the Mets. It's a little thin, actually. If you're willing to spend some money, maybe a Bo Bichette. We haven't even talked about that. Is that a possibility? Could the Giants target Bo Bichette? Should they target Bo Bichette? He's one of the best pure hitters in the game. Puts up some of the best just natural contact hitting numbers that in the entire league. Has some good pop as well. Hit a huge home run in the World Series Game 7. He's only 28 years old. He's said he's willing to move to second base. Should we be considering Bo Bichette? Could you imagine the lineup with Bo Bichette in there? How deep that lineup becomes suddenly with Casey Schmidt being able to be a utility guy, moved around, filling in. Wow, okay, I think I'm convincing myself. I want the Giants to target Bo Bichette. I like that move if they were to do that. I doubt it happens. It's very likely he heads back to Toronto. Toronto is all in, so I could see them bringing him back. But hey, Bo Bichette is an option. If you want to spend some money, Alex Bregman has said he'd be willing to play second base. I don't know how I'd feel about that because I don't like cheaters on my team. So I don't know. But hey, there are options there at the second base position. You don't have to do it, but if you do it, I think it makes the team so much deeper. We've talked about that before. Now, my third New Year's resolution for the Giants this year is this, and I touched on it earlier. Go get another starter and make it a high-end starter. Please, I'm begging you. Someone who has more upside. Mally has upside. If he's healthy and he pitches the way he did last year, we're looking at one of the better signings of the offseason. We need someone who has a track record of health and high-end starting pitcher, ace-like pitching. This is the deepest area left remaining within the free agent market is starting pitcher and the trade market as well. So let's look at the trade market. There's a couple names that the Giants have been tied to, and it's Edwin Cabrera from the Marlins and Freddie Peralta from Milwaukee. Let's look at Edwin Cabrera real quick. Peralta's numbers are actually more intriguing. Where is he? Cabrera, where are you? Sorry, I've been saying Edwin. It's Edward. I knew that. Edward Cabrera. Okay, so last year, he's going to be 28 this year, so it was his age 27 season last year with the Marlins. He went 8-7 in 26 starts with a 3.53 ERA, 137 innings with 150 strikeouts, has some good stuff. The year before, in 2024, he made 20 starts, pitched to a 4.95, not so good there. The year before, in his age 25 season, pitched in 20 games, 20 starts with a 4.24. So this is someone who will not cost you a ton. He's a young arm. He had a really good good year last year. He would be a good piece to go after in the trade market, and you wouldn't have to spend too much. Another name would be Freddie Peralta. We've talked about him before. I don't think you'd have to give up too much for Peralta because he's only 1 year left. He is a much better starting pitcher than someone like Cabrera, but Peralta last year, he's going to be 30 in his age 29 season, pitched in 33 starts. Where are you at? There you are. 33 starts, so pitched a full season, which he's pitched basically 3 full seasons in a row. That's what we're looking for. Pitches consistently about 170 innings each year, which is great. Last year, in 33 starts, had a 17-6 record, if you care about win-loss record anymore, with a 2.70 ERA. In 176 innings, struck out 204 people, had a 3.64 FIP, fielding independent pitching, and then he had a 1.075 whip, which is walks and hits per innings pitched, if you didn't know what that means. That basically means how many base runners is he allowing per inning. He almost was allowing less than 1. So Freddie Peralta, would be awesome. And I don't think you wouldn't have to give up an Eldridge. You wouldn't have to give up any of your top-end prospects. I think you could give a couple expendable prospects away, get Peralta, and who knows, maybe with his good friend Adames being on the team, he might like playing in San Francisco. There could be an extension on the table there, and Peralta could be a long-term option next to Logan Webb and in a short-term solution to what some of the struggles that we're experiencing right now as we look at the rotation. So I'd be all in on a Freddie Peralta trade. Now, there are some really big names and good starting pitchers on the market here. We got Framber Valdez, who is an ace quality pitcher, had a weird moment last year where he seemingly intentionally crossed up his own catcher. So maybe he's not the right clubhouse presence that we're looking for. Ranger Suarez is someone who doesn't get talked about a lot, who's put together some really good years. I was just looking at his stats earlier. Let's look at it together now. Last year, in his age 29 season and 26 starts, was 12-8 with a 3.20 ERA. The year before, in 27 starts, pitched to a 3.46. The year before, in 22 starts, pitched to a 4.18. The year before, in 29 starts, pitched to a 3.65. Just consistently, not an amazing starting pitcher, but a very quality starting pitcher. Hasn't pitched over 30 starts, though, so is that some of the concern? I would rather they lean towards someone who has shown health. You never know, though. With pitchers, you never know. Something happens randomly to everybody at some point in their career. There's some lower end, lower cost starting pitchers still available. Someone like Chris Bassett, I don't think I would categorize him as that higher upside, so I would honestly slot him in along what they've already done. The only other name that I see on here that I view as this could be another ace is Zach Gallen. He had a bad year last year, but then the years prior was an ace for the Diamondbacks, was filthy, was so good. And so you're banking on a bounce back from him. I think he's going to be a starting pitcher who's looking for a contract similar to what Tatsuya Amai just got, maybe a 3-year deal with opt-outs in between each year, and maybe around that $25 million a year. So at worst case scenario, you're stuck with him if he's bad and he doesn't opt out, you're stuck with him for 3 years. So it's not one of these 6, 7, 8, 9 year contracts. I don't think they would ever give an 8 or 9 year contract to a starting pitcher. It's not one of those long pitcher contracts. But it's also, let's say he deals in the first year and he opts out. Great. You can try to sign him again. And if you don't, you got one really great year out of him. So Zach Gallen, Ranger Suarez, and Framber Valdez are the 3 starting pitchers that I would view as that higher end, can be an ace alongside Webb, alongside Ray, that I think would transform this team. So I want the Giants, go get another high-end starting pitcher, whether it's a trade or whether it's a signing. Go get another one. Please don't be done addressing the rotation. My last New Year's resolution for the Giants, and I don't really have a solution because it's getting kind of thin on the free agent market, is to keep filling out your bullpen. The bullpen stresses me out. I think I've come around to the idea that their Jason Foley signing, that's them addressing the closer role, because Randy Rodriguez, probably if he was healthy, he'd be the closer this year. He's not healthy. He's out all year next year. Foley is also not healthy, but he'll be back I think around June, around the midpoint of the year. So I think their plan, which stresses me out, is to run with Walker and Peguero and Miller and try to get through the first half of the year without having a solidified closer. and then count on Foley coming back from injury and just being what he was with the Tigers last year. And in 69 games, he pitched 60 innings, had a 3.15 ERA, and finished with 28 saves with the Tigers. So very solid back-end reliever. So if he comes back healthy, he's great. That's awesome. I just am nervous about that front half of the year. I don't want to see, I've said this so many times, I feel bad. I don't want to see Ryan Walker pitching in the ninth. I really don't. And the market is getting thin for relief pitchers. All the closer capable guys are pretty much gone. The only name left who has closer experience, and he's 41, is David Robertson. And so I can't even begin to think about the trade market because I don't know it well. I know they were rumored for Michael Kopech. I think his stuff could play at the back end of the bullpen, but I don't know. And so anyway, we're not going to get in. I'm not going to get into it because I would get lost in that jungle of relief pitching because there's just so much. They have to round out that bullpen somehow because I don't feel comfortable with it at all right now. So, hey, those are my 4 New Year's resolutions for the Giants. Last but not least, Jesse's hot take. This is my hot take, and I don't know if it's hot or not, but based on what I've been hearing from some people, there's a lot of negativity so far around this offseason, and I've even expressed it too. But if we peel back, if we step back and look at the roster as is right now, my hot take is this team is already a playoff team. The Giants, as they sit right now, are already a playoff team. They were just a handful of games away from making the playoffs last year. They went through such a funky slide in the middle of the season that if even that was just slightly better, they would have made the playoffs. The Reds squeaked in. You don't need to be a 90-win team to make the playoffs, which that's a whole entirely different conversation. I think the standard should be higher. The Giants need to be an 85, 86, 87-win team. When you look at this team, as they are on paper right now, and a lot of things have to go right, of course. That's how it is with every team every single year. That's why you get random teams showing up and like, oh, wow, they were good this year. And that's why you get teams that you thought were going to be really good are really bad suddenly, like the Braves. It's because baseball, there's a lot of variables at play here. This team, as it sits now, is already a playoff team, in my opinion. I think the starting rotation, if everybody's healthy, you've got 2 high-end starting pitchers. You've got a true top 5 starting pitcher in the entire league, ace in Logan Webb. You've got a great number 2 from the left side in Robbie Ray. And then now your rotation, if everybody stays healthy, is a solid quality rotation. Landon Roop looked really good next year. What does year 2 look like for him? If he builds off of last year, it's going to be really good. If Malley and Hauser are healthy, you've got 2 solid 4-5 starters for you at the back end of the rotation. The bullpen is shaky. It makes me a little nervous. There are good arms in that bullpen. And if your offense is clicking the way that it can with guys like Devers and Adames and Chapman and Ramos and Lee and Eldridge and other guys I'm blanking on possibly, this lineup, when you look at it, that lineup should play. That lineup should play. That lineup should score you 4 or 5 or 6 runs a game, and that is a recipe for a winning team. That as of now, the way the Giants look, I see about an 86 or 87 win team with a wild card spot in the playoffs. As they sit right now, this Giants team is already a playoff team. Am I satisfied? No, because I want more. I'm greedy because I know the Giants can go get more, and I know how good they can be if they just add a couple of the right pieces and make a couple of the right moves. And so as a fan, I'm not satisfied. I want to see more. But if this is it, if this is their offseason, I'm still going to be going into the season optimistic because what I've seen on paper and last year is that this team can be and should be a playoff team as is. So that's it for today's episode. Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome back to Giants Chatter. We're back after that little break in the holidays. I hope you enjoyed the episode. We're getting some following going on social media, so follow us on social media. Subscribe, like, give us a review, comment. I'll try to engage with you guys as well as we build this community. But we are going to have another episode coming later this week. Hopefully there's some news from the Giants. Hopefully they do something big that we can just have an emergency in the middle of the night kind of podcast. That would be fun. So anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Go Giants.